outcome and lecture method. Anybody would like to go? In fact, this is going to be the pattern in every class. So you need to share. You need to speak up. All right, have a look at your notebooks, whatever you have, and let us know what all has been held, your learnings. Still waiting?
So training methods were those like 7 to 8 methods, which
Yeah,
involved different categories of training, training the crew in different ways, like role
yeah,
modeling, and lecture method was also there. One of the methods
yeah,
was there, and
right.
then management games, and then
Hmm.
like one more, involving people into actually I guess it's role modeling only,
Okay.
and then activities were there, then discussing things, presentation, and all these things. These were like the methods, and what was the best method, like which method. It was like not every method would work every time for every
Yeah,
sort of training.
right,
Different
right.
methods should be applied as per the crew requirement and as per the trainer's expertise also,
Yeah,
and how a trainer can choose a particular role out of their comfort zone if they are not into it. So these were the training methods, and lecture method was like just when lecture method should be applied, in which case it would be best suited.
yeah, right. Thank you so much. Mr. Ashok Panda from Bhubaneswar chapter. So, would you like to share? Were you there in the last class? What about you, Somendra? Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
So,
Somendra.
Somendra here. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually,
Please go ahead.
I was going through the content only.
Okay.
So we have learned first. We have learned what is training method actually.
Okay.
So training method we normally do when the objective is already predetermined and it's
Yeah.
for a larger crowd.
Yeah.
A technique where we can involve lots of people for delivering mostly the training content or for facilitating the learning process where like product knowledge we can give or something related to the theory part we can give.
Okay.
So training method, and then the functions of training methods we have told us, you told us,
Okay.
assist in creating the appropriate learning environment, enhancing participation and involvement of the group,
Yeah.
greater control of the learning process to the participant, promote group interaction and cohesion. Then there are
Right.
factors influencing choice of training methods,
Yeah.
and then why and when to use the lecture method that you
Okay.
told us, sir. A large group,
Right.
mostly a large group and all,
Right.
and drawbacks of the lecture method,
Mm-hmm.
enhancing usefulness of the lecture method.
Yeah.
These were the topic, the lecture method checklist.
Yeah.
These were the contents you did, sir, told to
Right.
us.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Somendra.
Welcome,
Thank you for
welcome.
sharing. All right.
So along with that, you taught us about evaluation parameters of reaction, knowledge, behavior results, and formative and summative assessments also.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Thank you. Thank you, Manisha. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, that's what we did. Today we'll be doing two chapters that demonstrate method and electronic training and its components. All right, very quickly, let's do a recap of what we did in the last class. Uh, so basically, the outcome which you desire from any training program would actually determine which training method you would adopt. Uh, Training is one of the solutions of a business problem. If you can remember that it's only one of the solutions, it's not the panacea of all the ills of an organization. So first of all, you have to determine whether out of all the available solutions for a particular problem, whether training is the solution, right, for your business problem. Once you are convinced that yes, training is the solution, then you only go ahead with the training program. Else, you should not actually conduct a training program. So in the first class, we had mentioned that the trainer or the HR person is not a waiter. He or she is not there to take the order from the line manager. Line manager says, please do this training program, does not mean that you have to go ahead and do the training program. You have to convince yourself that yes, training program is needed. Training program is the solution for the problem at hand. Then only you should agree to design a training program for the line manager. Else, there can be any number of solutions to a business problem. So now, what could be the desired outcome of a business problem or a training solution? There could be only three different types of results which we expect from the training program. One is the knowledge, second is emotions, third is doing. Like if you want to learn how to drive a vehicle, a car or a motorcycle, then that is actually you want to teach or you want your trainees to learn how to drive the vehicle, which is a psychomotor result out of your training program. So for that, you need to pick the right kind of training method. Similarly, if you just want the participants to have knowledge about a particular topic or a subject, then you pick the training method accordingly. Similarly, if you want the participants to acquire some emotional outcome, say for example, you want them to acquire empathy, right? So what is the training method which is appropriate for teaching empathy? So something like a project, a CSR project, would actually teach empathy to people, or encouraging your employees to join an NGO in their spare time and supporting them. That will teach empathy. So that's the affective or the emotional outcome of a training program. So depending on the outcome which you desire, you need to pick the training method. So these are the various training methods which are available to any trainer. So basically, you need to match the training method with the outcome which you desire. Let's go one by one and ask you what kind of result these training methods will give you. Lecture method. Out of the three, we have identified three. One is knowledge, that is the mind. The second is affection, that is emotion. And third is the psychomotor or doing. So lecture method. So this is the appropriate training method for which result out of the three?
Knowledge.
Knowledge.
Cognitive domain.
Cognitive domain. Very good. Demonstration method.
So that is psychomotor.
Psychomotor.
Psychomotor. Okay, right. And electronic training and its electronic training.
Cognitive.
Yeah. It will be cognitive. Yes. Business game.
Again, yes,
Psychomotor.
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 Affective. Okay.
Effective also to some extent. If you are playing a business game which is taking decision under stress, then yes, of course, it will be effective also. Okay, simulation.
Psychomotor.
Psychomotor. Very good. Programmed instruction.
Cognitive.
Cognitive. Sir.
Cognitive. Interactive multimedia.
So that is again cognitive.
Cognitive. Yeah. Case study method.
Affective.
Affective and cognitive.
Affective.
Cognitive and affective. Yes. On the job training.
Psychomotor
It's
is cognitive.
affective.
On the job training would be psychomotor. Mainly it will be
Psychomotor.
psychomotor. Right. Okay. Good.
So,
So
I
you are
have a
getting a hand of it. Okay.
I
Yeah.
have a question.
Yes,
The
Sonal.
last one, on the job training, besides being psychomotor, isn't it entails cognitive also? One is
Yeah,
thinking.
I'm not suggesting that they are purely one or the other. What I'm suggesting is majorly it
Okay.
will be psychomotor.
Fine.
But of course, you when you are interacting on the job, when you are interacting with other people, then of course you would learn some psychomotor, some affective elements also. Since you would be your supervisor will be telling you about how the job is done, what are the various tools that you would use, what is the sequence of the process. Cognitive is also involved. What I'm suggesting is it will be majorly one or the other, but that does not preclude other results coming in. Say for example, if you are sitting on the simulator cockpit of aeroplane, or the or a simulator driving simulator, so you would actually be in the driver's seat, and you would actually be mimicking what the driver does, and you would come across certain situations. Say for example, you would come across when you are driving on the road on the simulator, you would come across some jaywalker who is just walking just across the road without looking to the left or right. So you have to serve, you have to apply brake. So it's almost like real, and you would experience emotions, right?
Yes.
The similar kind of emotion you would experience when you are actually driving. So simulator, although it is majorly psychomotor, but you would also learn emotions. You would also learn the knowledge part. Also would be one of the results, but majorly it will be psychomotor. So whatever training method you use, it'll have all the three results. What I'm proposing is that you pick a method, training method, which would majorly give you the outcome which you desire. Like when you are driving, your the concepts are not that important as actually driving on the road, right? Which is a psychomotor exercise. Although you need to know the road signs, all those things, but nobody is going to ask you about the road sign, or they're not going to test you on your knowledge of road sign when you have a driver's license, right? So you have to just
Right.
drive. Okay.
Yeah. Thank
Right.
you.
Does that answer your question, Sonal?
Yes, sir. I got it. Thank you so
Right.
much.
Okay.
Sir, actually, when we say cognitive, the cognitive will always play the role. So we cannot ignore. Majorly, there should be some psychomotor doing kind of thing, but
Yeah.
cognitive will be there.
Yeah.
Also,
For
emotion will be
the
there, and
yes,
emotion also will be there.
will be there. Right. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Okay, so in the last class, we had discussed about the various training methods and their appropriateness. So this is already there in your book. So I just picked it from the book. And the various skills which the trainer requires for different kinds of training methods. Like for lecture, you require a very high level of communication, and you require high level of understanding in using the group process, because you will be handling a big class. So these are some of the skills which the trainer requires while choosing a training method. All right. Okay. Functions, factors. Yeah, this we have already covered. Okay. So we had also in the last class discussed about why a particular method is required, and for lecture method, in under what circumstances you would pick a lecture method. And we had discussed that especially when you have a very large group of people needing information or knowledge, you would pick lecture method. Or if your budget is less, it's better to pick the lecture method, because all other training methods would require bigger investment. And if the time is also short, you just have 1.5 hours time or 2 hours time to impart certain knowledge to a large group of people, you would be choosing the lecture method. Drawbacks of the lecture method, like it's very it's not interactive at all, and the entire power balance is in favor of the person who is giving the lecture. And there's the participants don't have any control over anything, whether the class or the way the lecture is moving, barring asking some questions here and there. So those are some of the drawbacks of the lecture method. And there's no feedback. And we had also discussed about making the lecture method much more productive. There are ways like to involve the participants in a lecture, and also to ensure that people are paying attention and they are absorbing stuff. Then you can have some quizzes in between, use some visual aids while you are giving lecture. So these are some of the things which will enhance the usefulness of a lecture method. All right. Okay. So let's move on to the topics of the day, which is, let's start off with the first topic, which is demonstration method. So anybody would like to tell the class as to what your understanding of a demonstration method is? What is a demonstration method? Any trainers here in the class? Or anybody from HR?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Kunal, go ahead.
So, sir, demonstration method ideally basically is leading through the front. So you first of all tell the participant how the thing has to be done. Any objective has to be achieved.
Yeah.
And then they follow your footsteps to
Okay.
follow the same process.
All right. Good. Okay. Good. Thank you, Kunal.
Sir,
Anybody else?
Somendra, sir.
Somendra. Yeah, please, Somendra.
Yes, sir. Very good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Actually, demonstration method is given when you want to have the maximum visual impact.
Yeah.
Maximum visual impact where they are seeing, because visual impact is very high. So
Yeah.
you are already doing it in the demonstration. Suppose if I will take an example, I am with Himalaya Baby Care and we have diaper and pants. So I have to train. I have to train the guys on the diaper and pants. So what I will do, I will take the diaper. I will show him the diaper, and every character, different characters, like wet indicator, anti-rash shield, we will explain him. I will explain him everything, and also I will give him the diaper so they can touch and feel. So demonstration method, you are giving a visual kind of thing. Also, they can feel and touch.
Right. In fact, that takes me back almost 21 years.
Thank you, sir.
When my son was born, and I was given a demonstration by my mother-in-law as to how to change the diapers.
Yeah, even we give sir how to change the diaper, when to change the diaper, what is the correct method of it, sir.
All right. Okay. Right. Thanks, Ravinder.
Welcome, sir. Thank you.
Sir, I would like to add,
boliye.
the trainer shows what to do and the trainees follow. That's
Yes, Sandhya. Yes,
Like
Sandhya. Right.
Bhumi here, sir.
Bhumi.
Actually, in this process,
Let Bhumi go first.
yes.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir. Yeah,
Yeah.
so like the NGO that I was once working with, we used to teach the kids from the slum areas how to, maintain hygiene standards. So we would be teaching supposedly how to wash and clean hands, like how to rub their hands and all those things. This is a long back time, but then yes, we used to show them step by step methods of how to do things, and then they
Right.
would follow then and there. That
Right.
was how we would teach kids over there.
Right, Bhumi. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes.
Sir, Rupesh this side.
Yes,
Actually,
Rupesh.
in this process, we let the people, let the participant know that what to do and how to do both.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's why it is called demonstration.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
how we do the process, we let the participants know.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Procedure and
Yeah. Somebody else wanted to share something.
I would like to tell something, Ashok Panda this side.
Mr. Panda, please.
Yeah, what I would like to say is, in demonstration, one biggest advantage is it
Yeah.
registers in your mind. It registers in your mind because
Right.
what is happening, you are being shown, you are being demonstrated. So,
Yeah.
it registers in your mind and you don't usually forget it. Once it is demonstration is there, you don't generally, but in lecture method, there's every likelihood you might forget it. But in
Yeah.
demonstration, it registers in your mind.
Yeah. Yeah. That's called the visual memory, actually.
Yeah.
It's called the visual memory.
Thank
so visual memory is difficult to forget.
Yeah.
Very,
Thank
you. Thank you, Mr. Panda.
Sir, last time in the last lecture, you said that all the medical students,
Yeah.
they are taught by the demonstration method.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you saw that.
Right. Right. Okay. So tell me, in fact, those who are not in HR or not in training, this demonstration method we have actually learned from our childhood, from our school days. In the school, which subject would actually lend itself more to demonstration? Which teacher actually used demonstration
Math.
method in our schools?
Laboratories.
Laboratories. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Especially chemistry lab and
Yes.
physics lab, bio lab, right? Yeah,
Practically.
yeah, that's right. Good.
Even physical exercise, sir, in the ground. It be
Yes.
like that.
Pardeep, you were saying something?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is the other demonstration method which I have observed quite frequently in the field of sports, because whenever you being a PT teacher or someone who is belong to or like explaining the sports, then the person really demonstrate that how should you play first, and then then you basically apply in your daily doings basically.
Yes, yes, right. Okay.
Sir, I am from math background and I can say Somendriya. I can say even in maths.
Yeah.
Childhood also. It's always a demonstration method. How to multiply, how to divide.
Exactly.
On the blackboard.
On the blackboard. Right. And even in physics, the problems
physics,
are there.
chemistry, biology, that is the only demonstration. But even maths, it's mostly a demonstration kind of thing.
Exactly. All right. So in the demonstration method, from the participant's viewpoint, which is the most important from the participant's viewpoint? I just want a one-word answer.
Involvement.
Okay. Involvement. Anybody else?
Attention.
Observation.
So interactiveness.
Yeah. Right. So I would go with observation. Who said observation?
Chandralekha, sir.
Yes, Chandralekha. Observation. Right. So because it's actually a visual method, right? And like Mr. Panda said, the visual memory is very difficult to erase. You can hear something and the very next day you will forget. But when you have seen something, then it's very difficult to forget, because we as the evolution of the human race has actually put our visual memory on a very higher plane than of any other animal. So we are basically visual animals. The human beings are basically visual animals. All right. So that reminds me of a joke. The picture is on your screen. The joke goes like this: there was this professor, in a medical college, he takes his students, the first year medical students, to the lab, and in the lab, there on a table, there is a dead body, right? And and unfortunately, the dead body was about say 6 7 days old, so it was really stinking a little bit. So what he did was he demonstrated the various limbs, the various stuff on the dead body, and uh, somewhere during the demonstration, what he did was he put his own finger in the nostril of the dead body, and put that put a finger in his mouth, and he asked the students to do similarly accordingly, and the students were dumbfounded. But since the professor is saying it, so each one of them did that, and some of the students, they went out and vomited. Then once the students settled down, then he said, and then the student asked, why did you do that? He said, uh, which finger did you put in your mouth? So the student said, the finger which we had put in the nostril of the dead body. He said, you did not observe me properly. I had put my index finger in the nostril, and I put the ring finger on in my mouth, right? So that shows actually uh, the importance of observation in a demonstration method. It was a joke, but definitely it has a lesson for us that observation is the most important thing in a demonstration method. All right. So, formal definition of demonstration is it's any planned performance by a presenter or a facilitator of an occupational skill. Like if you are say batting coach, you would be demonstrating how to bat right on the pitch, right? It's a planned performance by a presenter of an occupational skill or scientific principle. Like if you are a chemistry teacher, then you would first give the theoretical input about say any equation or any salt which you want to prepare. Then you go to the lab, and whatever you have taught, that is demonstrated, and and the students will follow suit. So, or an experiment. This is what I was in a physics class. You would demonstrate an experiment, right? So, any planned performance by a trainer or a teacher or a facilitator of any occupational skill, scientific principle, or experiment. This is a formal definition of a demonstration method. Okay, so there are steps involved in the demonstration method. If you follow these steps, then your demonstration would be successful, and the learnings will be much better. Like first of all, you have to plan and prepare for a particular demonstration. Uh, I mean, in fact, planning is required for anything, but for demonstration, you just don't walk into a lab and demonstrate. For doing that, you have to prepare your students for demonstration first. They have to have some theoretical knowledge about anything that you are going to demonstrate before you walk into the lab to demonstrate. Second step is after planning. The second step is introducing the lesson. Right, the teacher should motivate the students and prepare them mentally for the demonstration. So here your theoretical input comes into play. Then third is the presentation of the subject matter. Only fourth step is demonstration. You don't jump into demonstration straight away. This demonstration is only the fourth step. Fifth step is no. This is not a fifth step. This step actually comes during the preparation stage, where what teaching aid that you require, those have to be arranged first. Say, for example, if you are going to demonstrate a reaction in the chemistry lab, then you must arrange for the salts, the various salts, the if you want a Bunsen burner, if you want some test tubes, you want some beakers, those have to be procured first before you walk into a chemistry lab. And finally, the evaluation is the result out of the students when they actually do it. Like once the teacher has demonstrated, the students need to follow, and their performance is evaluated by the teacher or the facilitator, right? Once the batting coach has demonstrated how to play a shot, the student follows suit. Uh, then how the player is able to demonstrate the things which he has learned through the demonstration is how it is evaluated by the coach, right? Similarly, by the chemistry teacher or physics teacher or anybody, even a maths teacher. Maths teachers, they once they have solved a problem, they would give a similar problem to the class, and they would ask you to come to the blackboard and solve that problem step by step in front of the class. And the student is evaluated on the learning of the method, the maths problem and similar problem, whether they are able to solve it. So these are the 6 steps in the demonstration method. Okay,
So one question.
Yeah, go ahead, Sakshi.
Is demonstration different from modeling? Because modeling also involves observation and then imitation of the behavior, right? And in the demonstration also we are observing and then imitating the same behavior.
Okay, all right. Anybody would like to answer this question? Is modeling and demonstration the same?
Modeling can be part of demonstration, but in itself is it can't be a demonstration in itself.
Sorry, come again.
May I explain, sir? Somendra.
Hello. Hi, this is Pradeep. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. Are you able to hear me, sir?
Yeah, sorry, I just missed that. Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that modeling is a subset of demonstration.
Modeling is a subset of demonstration. Okay, all right. Anybody has a view?
May I highlight Somendra?
Yes, Somendra, please.
So basically, the objective of the modeling is different. Here we are talking in terms of the training part.
Yeah.
So modeling is objective of the modeling is getting the customer or highlighting the benefits of this. So they are just highlighting the benefits. They are not training to anybody, as per my understanding.
All right.
While in demonstration, we are training them how to do something.
Okay. Okay.
So this is a basic difference.
Right. Thank you. Anybody else?
Sir, Rupesh this side. Rupesh this side, sir.
Rupesh.
Actually, in modeling only we use visual part.
Yeah.
Instead of, I mean, like in demonstration, audio and visual both we use to demonstrate something.
All right.
In modeling only we use visual part, no audio and like.
Yeah. Basically, that's the difference. That's the basic difference
Even
between
sir,
modeling. Yeah, Chandrakant. You want to say something, Chandrakant?
Yes, sir. Even a demonstration. Yes, sir. Demonstration backed by the theoretical knowledge as well. That means previously lecture or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Exactly.
And following the demonstration, that is more effective.
Right.
So, I want to attempt this.
Sonal.
Perhaps modeling and demonstration definitely entails demonstrating a new skill more for the students by observing But demonstration perhaps would entail more of imparting, complex skills, demonstration of complex skills. Maybe
Okay.
that's the difference.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks, Sonal.
So can I also add one thing? If
Huh.
so, modeling in is basically what we've already done, and we're just following the footsteps at the same time.
Yeah.
Where in demonstration we just do it, and the people analyze and evaluate at their own understanding level.
Right. Right. So modeling is actually it's unintentional, whereas demonstration is an intentional training program. Modeling, just think about a model, right? Any model, male model, female model, walking on the ramp, right? That's what modeling is, right? So what do they do? Do they give any theoretical knowledge to the audience before they walk on the ramp? Yes or no? The models who walk on the ramp, wearing different designers' clothes, what do they do? Do they have any interaction with the audience beforehand? Yes or no?
No, sir. No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No,
They
no.
just showcase it.
Do they teach anything anything theoretical before they walk on the ramp?
No,
No,
sir.
we just
No.
display.
Right? They're just displaying it, right? They're just being themselves, that is, right? So they're just being themselves and wearing designer clothes and walk on the ramp, that's it. And if the audience can take away some of the things which they have seen and imitate them, right? What is the purpose of a modeling show? What is the purpose of a modeling show?
Kind of increasing the sales.
Kind of increase in the sales, right? So
It's a
how do
kind of advertisement only. It's
yeah,
a kind of advertisement.
exactly.
Merchandise.
So how what is the process involved in a modeling show?
So they
And
basically
what is the
showcase.
expectation? What is the expectation?
They are just doing the branding kind of their product. It's a kind
Okay.
of branding where
Okay.
they highlight the features of that
Yeah.
product.
Right.
So they
So
basically showcase the products, and they expect the people to buy them
yeah,
afterwards.
right. So basically what they are expecting is people will get inspired by the beautiful models wearing their own designs, and it's a aspirational goal, right? So
Broadly, we can say that is a marketing part. We are into training. So different modeling is a
no, modeling
part
is
of the
also
marketing.
modeling is also one of the techniques in training. So I'll come to that. So it's in a modeling show. Basically, what happens is it's inspiring a aspirational goal in the audience. uh, they see the models, beautiful models wearing the designer clothes, and they think that if they also buy those designer clothes, possibly they will go up one notch in the observer's eyes. So that's the belief. So that's how the sale takes place, right? It's catering to the aspirational goals of the audience. That's it. So now in the organizational context, in the companies or other organizations, how does modeling work? Modeling works in the same principle that when you are actually doing the modeling, you are being yourself. You are not going out of your way to teach anybody anything in modeling. Unlike demonstration, where the facilitator has to give theoretical inputs, he has to plan, prepare, he has to arrange the teaching aids. All those things are part of the demonstration method. Whereas modeling does not have anything of the sort. Suppose there's a young aspirant to CEO, uh, or maybe there are 4 or 5 candidates who have been shortlisted in an organization to take over from the CEO who is retiring after say 2 years, right? So it's a leadership pipeline. Now, if there is modeling, then what will happen is these 4 or 5 aspirants who are leaders in their own right and aspiring to fill that position, they would actually model the behavior of the CEO, and in fact, there are organizations who actually facilitate this, and the aspiring CEO to be, they actually follow the CEO around and see in a day's work what all he or she is doing, and try and follow that. It happens in the corporates, it happens in the army, it happens in several other spheres of life. So modeling is basically watching and learning. It's only the visual content, whereas demonstration, you have various content which are given to you. It can be psychomotor, it can be visual, it can be cognitive. It's a combination of all, whereas modeling is basically visual, right? And whatever reflection you can do on your own after watching the person who you have taken up as a model, right? Does that answer your question? The difference between modeling and demonstration? Both are training methods, certainly. Both are training methods, but demonstration is much more involved. It is much more extensive, whereas modeling is basically being yourself. The observer or the participant basically observes you, right? In your normal self, you are being your normal self. All right.
So demonstration involves all the 3 domains of excellence.
Exactly. Right. Okay. Right. Thank you. All right. So demonstration. When do you pick demonstration as a method? Demonstration training method is successful and effective when the teaching is manipulative and operative skills to learn manipulative. Manipulative means what? When you are using your hands, right? That's a manipulative skill. And operative skills, when you are operating a machine. So in that, a lecture will not work. Just a lecture will not work. So how to change a light bulb, electric bulb, right? Any amount of lecture will not work to teach how to change an electric bulb, because it will take a long time to actually put the concept through to your training, whether it's an electrician or anybody. But if you can just get up onto a ladder and show the person the socket, and take a bulb and screw it in. That's it. So it hardly takes about 2-3 minutes to do it. But if you want to give a lecture how to change an electric bulb, it may take maybe half an hour to actually tell them what the concepts are, and explain that electric bulb, explain a socket, all those things, right? So the first is, if you are teaching manipulative and operative skills, demonstration method is more useful. Second is in developing understanding. How does it help in developing understanding? Uh, they say that if you hear something, you'll forget. But if you are actually doing something with your own hands, then it stays for a long, long time, because of what is called the muscle memory. Muscle memory is more retentive than your hearing, the memory which you have by just hearing things. It develops understanding uh, in showing how to carry out new practices. If you got a new, say, Xerox machine in the office, right, or what is called fire hydrant in the office. Unless you are demonstrated how to use the fire extinguisher, how to use the Xerox machine, uh, it's very difficult actually to do it on your own by just reading the manual or being told how to do it. So it's easier to learn it from demonstration than through the lecture method or by reading it. And finally, in securing the acceptance of the new and improved ways of doing things. This is from the facilitator's point of view. Like if the maths teacher, if your maths teacher is just gives the theory of solving a problem, then the students will have doubts as to whether it will work, right? But if the maths teacher goes to the board, blackboard, whiteboard, and solves that very problem step by step from memory, and shows it to the students, then the students are much more confident that if the teacher can do it, we can do it too, right? So if the swimming coach, instead of giving just a lecture, he jumps into the water, and whatever he has taught, the strokes and all, how to stay afloat, he demonstrates by jumping into the deep end of the water and swimming. Then the students are convinced that yes, it's not just theory, but it can be done. It's practical, right? So that will lead to acceptance of the new things which the students have just learned. So in these four circumstances, the demonstration method is appropriate, and it's going to be successful. All right. So how does demonstration actually work, right? So it works in three ways. It basically it starts off with the theory by introducing the problem and giving some theoretical inputs, the concepts to the learners. The second is the first, so this is the stimulus step, right? Second is the assimilation step, which is actual demonstration. So whatever has been taught to the students, the teacher or the facilitator, he actually does it. He goes to the blackboard and solves the problem. He jumps into the water and starts swimming. He climbs behind the wheels of the car and starts driving. So this is the assimilative step. So the student learns by observing. Then the third step is the application step. Application step is the student is actually asked to follow suit. So the student goes behind the wheel of the car and starts driving with the instructor beside him, or the student jumps into the water, maybe the shallow water, not the deep end, and the swimming coach is beside him to help in case anything goes wrong. So that's the application step. So the learning cycle in the demonstration method follows these three steps: the stimulus step, the assimilative step, and the application step. All right. So what are the different types of demonstration? What are the different kinds of demonstration? There are two types. One is the method demonstration. The second is the result demonstration. Method demonstration is basically step by step. How something is done. Like when you want to when you want to teach how to drive, then what is step by step? You climb on into the driver's seat, then you adjust your seat as per your height and belt. Then you adjust your mirrors, your rear view mirror. Uh, then you see that the vehicle is not in gear but in the neutral position. Then you switch on the ignition, right? Then you press the clutch, then you engage the gear to the first one, and then you press your right leg on the brake. Then gradually you shift your right leg to the accelerator. Then the clutch has to be released and the accelerator has to be pressed after you have engaged the gear, and the car moves, right? That's the method. So the theoretical input is given about this step-by-step method, and the coach actually gets into the car and demonstrates it, right? That's the method demonstration. So once the method demonstration, so this is the method demonstration. The result demonstration is basically uh, it comes into play after the student has gained some knowledge about a particular process. Say for example, the student has already learned how to drive a car, right? So the result demonstration would be that the uh, the coach or the teacher will not be sitting beside the student anymore, because he or she is confident that the person is able to drive. But he would be outside, and he will instruct the student to park, to back up and park in a parking lot. So if the student is able to do it well, uh, to back up and park, then that is the result which uh, is expected of the student. And before that, of course, the teacher would be telling the student as to how to back up and park, demonstrate it himself, and then he moves out of the car and sees the result. Right. So these are the two ways the demonstration method works. One is the method demonstration. Second is the result demonstration. Result demonstration comes after the method demonstration has happened. Right. Okay. So what are the values of the demonstration? It appeals to the senses. Like we started off with this topic on how human beings are visual animals, right? So we are actually of all our five senses, our visual sense actually it drives us almost 80% of the time, or 85%. Your hearing, that is auditory sense, it works to make sense of the world, maybe another say 10 or 12%. And your taste and touch and smell, they take up only 5% of your senses. So we are 85% of the human beings is visual, right? So a demonstration, it draws from that aspect of the human beings, that we are 85% visual animals. So it appeals to the senses, and our visual memory is much stronger than our auditory memory. So if we have seen something, it's very difficult to forget. So the demonstration method, it appeals to the senses. It is realistic because you are actually doing what you are saying, right? So there's a somewhere I had read that which goes like this. What you are, what I see is so overwhelming that I do not know what you are talking about, right? In I mean that has a lesson for all of us in the organization when you are joining the organization. So if you are saying something to your colleagues or your subordinates and you are doing something else, your team members will actually be following what you are doing rather than what you are saying them to do. So so demonstration method is realistic. If you are jumping into the water and actually swimming, then that has much more impact than if you are giving them a lecture as to how to swim for about an hour or so. If you are a maths teacher and you go onto the blackboard and pick up any problem from the maths book and solve it, then your credibility goes up in the eyes of the student that yes, you know your stuff, and these these problems which are there in the maths book are solvable, right? So the demonstration makes it realistic. It saves time. Like I had said, when you are changing an electric bulb, it takes about 2 minutes to demonstrate how to change a bulb. But if you want to give a lecture on how to change an electric bulb, you may require an hour or so, and still you may not be certain that the person whom you have given the lecture to, he or she understands how to change the bulb, right? It saves time. And fourth is it sets the performance standard, right? If the cricket coach, the batting coach, he or she uh, is able to hit the cricket ball, no matter what kind of bowling is there, whether it is spin or pace or yorker, whatever. So if he or she is able to do that, that improves the credibility of the onlooker, of the uh, players. In their eyes, you go up a notch. And also they try and follow the technique which you have demonstrated, and it the performance standard improves. So these are the four values of the demonstration method. It appeals to the senses, it's realistic, it saves time, and it also sets the performance standard. And the what are the uses of demonstrate method? It clarifies the material as well as it supplements of the method. It's not that the demonstration method can be a standalone method, like in the chemistry class. Demonstration in the chemistry lab is a supplement to the lecture which happens in the class, right? So it supplements the method, and it gives a realistic picture to the theory that you have learned in the class, right? It clarifies the matter. So there are again there are 6 steps to when you want to give a demonstration. There are 6 steps involved. You introduce the lesson, and normally the first step happens in a classroom or in a gathering. You introduce the lesson, you preview the material which you want to teach. Then you do the demonstration, and you also need to follow the safety standards. Like when you are in the chemistry lab, what kind of safety standards you would insist on? Like when I was going to the chemistry lab, there would be like I have to wear apron so that the acid does not fall on me and burn my skin. Then I have to use goggles, safety goggles. Uh, depending on what demonstration is happening, you have to take the safety measures for demonstration. And you have to insist that the students or your participants also follow the safety procedures and have the personal protective equipments, PPEs, when they do that. Fifth is the critic. Critic is you check on the evaluation stage. You check on what the how the experiment of the student has gone and where the student has gone wrong. If that, those who have done chemistry, like there was a very fine uh, ex- uh, experiment which we used to do, like when you mix two salts, then finally you get a very beautiful brown ring. If the brown ring is there, then the experiment has gone pretty well. That's a matter of pride, and one would come and show to the teacher that yes, I have got the brown ring. So sometimes what will happen is if the proportion of the salts will go wrong, then you won't get a brown ring. You'll get a colloidal mixture, right? So the teacher will check on how much salt you have taken of each variety, and whether you have what is the temperature of the Bunsen burner, and how long you have kept it on your tube on the burner. So all those things. So he or she will be critiquing the. It's not criticizing basically. Critic is basically going through the various steps and try and help the student to do it right the next time, right? And finally, to summarize, like after every chemistry lab class, the teacher would gather the students around, and he or she would actually summarize the whole thing, like starting from the lecture which was given before that to the experiments which students have done, and who has done well, who could have done better. So that way the learning is imprinted in the minds of the students. All right. Okay. So now we'll go to the advantages and disadvantages of the method. The advantages are this method of teaching serves the model lab instruction. So lab is basically it supplements the lecture, and the students get to actually dive in and do things with their own hands. So when you do something with your own hand, it's the learning is much more than if you are just hearing it. Second is the demonstrations present subject matter in a way that can be understood easily. They make clear that what might otherwise be vague and meaningless. Like if you are giving a lecture on how to change an electric bulb, it may be vague unless you know what is an electric bulb and you have seen it and you have touched it. Unless you know what the electric socket is, what the socket looks like, and you have actually gone up the ladder and screwed in a electric bulb into the socket, it'll be very vague if you are just given a lecture. The third is it'll actually be if you are just giving a lecture, then you have a doubt whether something can be done. If you are given a lecture on the swimming, so you won't know that it can be done. Like the human body can actually stay afloat in the water. You'll have your doubts. But if the swimming coach actually jumps into the water and stays afloat, and is able to move from one end of the swimming pool to the other, then you are convinced that yes, human body can stay afloat, and human body can move in the water if you are adopting the proper stroke. So it removes the doubt which the pupil may be having. Demonstration, it permits teaching the theory along the practice. Like in a chemistry lab, you are actually practicing what you have been taught in the class. So moving from theory to practice happens in a demonstration method. It is a high rate of takes and exposures. Like you can do and redo an experiment in the lab till you perfect yourself. You can hit a cricket ball again and again to gain the expertise in hitting the ball in a real match. So it affords the student or the learner to practice again and again. Sixth is experiment has shown that demonstration points out the matter of observation and indicates the inference. You experiment and the results are there for you to see. Unlike when you are just reading something or reading a instruction manual or hearing a lecture, you won't know what the result would be if you actually do it. Whereas in demonstration method, the result is right there in front of your own eyes to see. Uh, it also makes the pupils familiar with the apparatus, like say a simulator of aeroplane or a simulator of car is exactly the same as the cockpit of the aeroplane or the dashboard of the car. So you get familiar with the what the real thing is, right? So it helps when you actually get into a car or when you actually climb onto the cockpit of the aeroplane to fly an aeroplane. You are already familiar with the looks and feel and functions of that particular instrument. Finally, experiments requiring special skill will merely be shown by the teacher in this method. No time is wasted. Like if you want somebody to learn how to drive the car only by lecture method or by reading a manual, it may take a long time, and it may not be appropriate or successful. You won't even know whether you will be able to drive a car by just reading a manual. But if you are on in a simulator or you have been shown how to do it, demonstrated by your trainer or the coach, then and you have subsequently tried it on, then it's much easier rather than just any other method. So these are the advantages. Some of the disadvantages of demonstration method are that it's not always easy to create a lab experiment for certain things, and the uh, the skill requirement on the part of the facilitator or trainer is very demanding. So one has to be an expert. If you are just a lecturer, you may not be a good demonstrator. To be a good demonstrator, you should also have the ability to do it yourself, right? So if you are just a lecturer of swimming and you are not a swimmer yourself, then it won't be possible to use the demonstration method. And demonstration method is it is restricted only to certain situations, like which can lend itself to the method, whereas in other it may not be feasible. Result type of demonstration may take considerable time and rather expensive. Like suppose you want to teach political science student how to be a cephalogist. Cephalogists are the people who actually do those exit polls. To do the result demonstration in for a cephalogist, it may be a very time consuming and expensive affair, in the sense one has to one has to wait for another election to happen, which may be 3-4 years time or 5 years time. Second is the exit polls are expensive, in the sense you have to collect you have to do the survey for almost what 5 or 10% of the population. If you want to do a survey for cephalogical survey for India, it will be what almost what we have what 130 crores. I mean 13 crore people you have to survey. So it's very expensive sometimes, and demonstration may require a large amount of preliminary preparation. We have seen what all steps are involved in a demonstration, and it requires a lot of skill. Second, it can be expensive and also time consuming. Unlike say lecture method, which can finish in 1.5 hours, a demonstration method may take maybe half a day or 1 hour, 1 day. Like first the lecture has to be gone through, then the demonstration has to happen, then the application by the students have to be there, then critiquing, then the final summary. So it's a long thing. But the outcome of a demonstration method would far outweigh the time involved or the cost involved. So if your expectation is that the student should be an expert in this particular topic, or they should be able to do it themselves, then the cost and the time should not be a factor. Finally, there's there's a danger of student being dishonest when the teacher has to play the main role in the demonstration of a topic. So I mean there are instances like when we were students, the student would bribe the lab in charge, or the lab assistant, to know exactly what the salt which have been given to them, and they would fib, and they would be dishonest, and uh, yeah, so that there is this danger also. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the demonstration method. Any questions on this?
So I have a question.
Yes, Honor.
The last point which you made pertaining to the students being dishonest, leaving the school scenario, in corporate, I think this point won't be valid.
Do you think so?
I mean, in demonstration method, how can be someone of that particular age be dishonest?
Let me tell you. Okay, so there's a company called NTPC, which actually takes engineer trainees, and engineer trainees they take from different disciplines. It could be electrical, electronics, the mechanical, civil. So some of them will be manning the UCB. UCB is basically unit control board. It's a room where the entire power plant is controlled from there, right? So to train them for the UCB, they have simulators. They have say 210 megawatt simulator. They have 500 megawatt simulator. They have gas power plant simulator, and they are trained on those simulators. And the simulators are designed in such a way that all kinds of emergencies can actually be simulated there. So if there is a boiler leak, if there is excessive pressure in the boiler, all these things can be simulated, and the trainees have to respond to these emergencies on the simulator, right? And they are tested on that, right? Their knowledge and their ability to handle these kind of situations. And so they at the end of the training period, they would be getting gold medal, silver medal, whatever, right? Or they'll get prize posting, like they would be posted in better projects, not got for second projects elsewhere. So there's a lot of stake involved, right, in this. So sometimes they do. And I being in HR, I know that it happens. I'm not saying that everyone is dishonest. That there could be some black sheeps, maybe 1 or 2% who do it, right? So it is possible. It is done. It is. I've seen it happening with my own eyes in the organization, not only in schools or colleges.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Any other questions on demonstration method? Okay. All right. Moving on, electronic training. Anybody would like to suggest what an electronic training means? Yeah.
It's a
E-training.
self-paced course.
I'm sorry, come again?
Yeah, so electronic training is more of a self-paced course. You have the instruction in place, which you can, which you can go through as per your convenience, and there are certain examples there. CBT-based, basically, computer-based training.
Computer-based training. Okay. Anybody else?
So it would also involve the program instructions, interactive media, and intelligence tutoring system, virtual reality.
Yeah. So anything to do with electronics, right? Your computer is an electronic gadget. Your mobile is an electronic gadget. Your yes, AR VR would be electronic. So anything to do with an electronic gadget which is used for training is an electronic training. So e-training means training with any on any electronic platform, be it mobile, be it laptop, be it computer, be it internet, be it MOOCs, the massive online open courses. These are all electronic training. And the companies, they use these training programs, and they sometimes prefer it because especially in circumstances like today, where the COVID has mandated that to avoid physical contact, the training must happen just like it's happening now, right now. Okay. So ISTD used to have physical classes, contact classes earlier. So now that's a no-no, and we are using the electronic platform to do the contact classes. Right. So what's happening right now is electronic training. Okay. So any use of an electronic platform for training e-training. Okay. So what are the different types, approaches to electronic training? There are the approaches to electronic training are mainly of 5 varieties. The first is the drill and practice, like you take a electronic training program and see where you are going wrong and practice again and again on the electronic platform till you gain expertise. That's the first one, the drill and practice. Second is the tutorial mode. In fact, many MOOCs are on tutorial mode. Has anybody done any MOOC? Learning any subject or any topic online? What is MOOC? Yeah.
Am I
What are
audible?
MOOCs?
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are.
Sir, I mean, we are taught, I mean, most of the things that we have been taught in the digital, I'm also doing one of the courses from Microsoft,
Yeah.
which is on blended learning.
Yeah.
And the specific mode of, training. They are training all the, different tools of Microsoft
Yeah.
online. So that is a tutorial mode. And there are other, practices involved in it, not just the electronic one.
Yeah.
It is through the electronic mode, but blended learning.
Right. So MOOC actually stands for Massive Online Open Courses. Right. It's on the internet, and the way it works is it will be into, say, more than one module. Say if there are, say, 5 modules. So at the end of each module, you there would be videos, there would be some reading material, then you would be interacting, and at the end of each module, there would be a test.
Yes.
And you cannot go on to the second module unless you have completed the test and have secured a prescribed percentage of marks there. So the second module would actually be locked. In fact, all of the modules would be locked. You cannot open the lock unless you have done the first one successfully. So this is what is called a tutorial mode in electronic training. Third is simulation mode. Simulation mode we have already discussed. Like there would be online simulators where you just like physical simulators, you will have online simulators, and your learning takes place on that. Fourth is the discovery mode. In the discovery mode, basically what happens is you are given certain situations, and the learnings will be inbuilt in those situations. Say there's a case study, or there is a treasure hunt, or whatever, right? It can be done online. And you discover certain learnings from those methods. Like there could be a training where you it's a virtual treasure hunt, or it can be actually a mix of virtual as well as real world. You are given a particular point which comes on your mobile of a place. You are given only the coordinates. You have to go there, and those coordinates will come to you on your mobile, and you have to find that place, and you get one clue there. Then that clue will lead you to the another place. So what is it that is taught in these kind of electronic training is one, analytical skills, second is team building, and third is problem solving. So these, although you are playing a game, but these are the trainings which are given to you, and these are being imparted in a discovery mode. Like nobody is telling you that I'm going to teach you or give you a lecture on problem solving. Nobody is going to tell you and that I'm giving you training on, say, collaboration. All these things happen through this. Uh, so that brings us to the gaming mode. So I just given you an example of a gaming mode in the discovery mode, like that. So it was a blend of the thing. But gaming also can be a pure and simple gaming, in the sense, what I do is I don't. Sometimes what I do, if I have time, I do not put up a slide for people to see what the learnings have been, right, or the recap. what I do is I would create a jigsaw puzzle. Maybe I'll try it out with your class next week. Yeah, there are sites where you can create jigsaw puzzles, and people can actually solve those jigsaw puzzles on their mobiles. And once they solve the jigsaw puzzle, they know they see the picture, and they learn what all has happened in the previous class, or anything that you want to impart. So that's gaming. In fact, AR VR also are can be used for gaming. It's a fun way of learning.